week. Now, with 4 games remaining, the Cowboys are fighting to maintain home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Last week, Dallas overcame a big scare, a scare that proved to be. With the triplets leading the way, they look for revenge from an early season loss to the Washington Redskins. 9 weeks ago, the Redskins stunned the football world, upsetting the Cowboys. But since that moment, the season has been one of disappointment, one of frustration. At 3-9, the Redskins are still in pursuit of answers to many questions as the season nears its close. Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. The Redskins in town to face the Cowboys on an unusually warm day in Texas. Temperature nearing 70 degrees. Stadium sold out as usual. Pat Summerall here with John Madden. And John, although the Redskins beat the Cowboys the first time they played up in Washington, the Cowboys are a prohibitive favorite. What do they have to play for today?
Well, you know, if you're going to be a great team, a Super Bowl team, a championship team, I've always believed that you don't really need anything to play for. You just go out there and play your best. But in talking to the Cowboys, the coaches, and the players, they know that if they win today, that they clinch a playoff spot. With a second win, they clinch a division title. And with a third win, a 3 out of 4, they can clinch home field playoffs throughout. So that's what they want. I mean, they want to get into playoffs. Then they want to get home field throughout, and then they know that if they do all those things, they're probably going to play the 49ers here someday.
The Cowboys were very fearful that they might have lost their fine running back Emmitt Smith on Thanksgiving Day when they beat Kansas City. We talked to Emmitt yesterday. He's going to play, wants to play.
Yeah, and I think the fact that they played on Thanksgiving Day and then they've had 10 days has really helped Emmitt Smith, because he said he didn't do anything till Wednesday. It felt okay. Did a little more on Thursday, and by Friday he felt fine, and he doesn't think that anything should slow him up today.
Most people accept the fact that the Cowboys and the 49ers are the best teams in the NFC. When you look at ways to attack Dallas, there are all different schemes. Norv Turner, the coach of the Redskins, thinks you have to stop Michael Irvin.
Yeah, because if the Cowboys are going to get a big play on you, there's only one guy that can get it quickly, and that's Michael Irvin. And then if you can stop that, not let them have the big play, make them work for it, it will take them time. Then the other part of that is you have to control the ball. And that's the way the Redskins beat them last time. And that's what Norv Turner says we have to do again. We have to be able to run the ball. Terry Allen has to have a big day.
So stand by for the Redskins and the Cowboys. One of the oldest and one of the most heated rivalries in the NFL. Brian Mitchell and William Bell back deep. That's Norv Turner, the head coach of the Redskins. And sometimes you forget about the presence of number 30 for Washington. Barry Switzer on the opposite sideline, the head coach at Dallas in his second year. Chris Boniol to kick it off. There's Brian Mitchell, one of the most dangerous kick returners, one of the best on special teams in the entire league.
Well, and when the Redskins upset the Cowboys, Brian Mitchell and Terry Allen were the two biggest parts of that.
The kick is going to go to Mitchell deep in the end zone, 5 yards deep in the end zone, and that's the way to keep him back where you'd like to have him. Let's look at the Washington offense. Starting at quarterback, Heath Shuler in his second year. 1 touchdown, 6 interceptions, but he has talent. Patton, Brown, Giesick at center, the former Cowboy, Trey Johnson, and Ed Simmons up front. Terry Allen, Mark Logan, the 2 running backs, Orlando Truitt, Henry Ellard, and Scott Galbraith. But they use 2 tight ends frequently. And that's the way they'll start. Terry Allen. Right side stopped by Tolbert. The Dallas defense. Haley led Maryland and Tolbert. 3 of the 4 were criticized by Coach Barry Switzer after Washington beat them at RFK. Darren Smith, Robert Jones, Dixon Edwards, the linebackers. Deion Sanders and Larry Brown, the corners. Brock Marion and Darren Woodson. 2nd and 10. Two tight ends set up again. Terry Allen deep. Schuler to throw it. Incomplete. Terry Allen hit by Dixon Edwards.
Well, when you play this Cowboy defense, one of the first things you want to find out is where is Deion Sanders lining up. That time he lined it up in Orlando Truitt. You know, you would think, okay, he'll line up on their best receiver. He'll line up in Henry Ellard. I think what the Cowboys are going to start with is Deion Sanders lining up on the strong side.
Three wide receivers set up for Heath Schuler and the Redskin offense. Haley gets loose, but they have a screen pass call to Brian Mitchell. Leon Lett, just coming back after a 4-game suspension, makes the stop.
And that was one of the things that Norv Turner says that we can't do today. We can't have a lot of those 3-and-outs because he knows, having been the offensive coordinator of this Cowboy team and a good friend and coach of Troy Aikman and all those players, he knows if you give them too many shots at you, what they can do.
Matt Turk back to punt to Kevin Williams. Off the side of his foot. Williams waves, stay away from it. And the Cowboys will take over at about their own 36-yard line. We'll look at the Dallas offensive setup. They not only control the ball very effectively, they also, as Norv Turner pointed out to us, they beat you up doing it. Matt Turk, the punter. Troy Aikman joins the offensive huddle. There are his numbers, and in front of him, a big offensive line. The new member is Derek Kennard at center. He goes 333, replacing Ray Donaldson. Aikman has Emmitt Smith deep and Novacek in motion. Aikman. Smith. Nothing doing. Ken Harvey made the stop on Emmitt Smith. Palmer, Gaines, Boutte, and Woods start as the front four. Norv Turner said he was happy with his back seven, including these three linebackers, and his secondary. Green and Carter, the cornerbacks, Richard and Washington, the safeties.
Well, if he's going to be happy with them today, Pat, they're going to have to do a lot better job against the run than they have been doing.
Emmitt Smith is deep. 4 wide out. Aikman fell on it. New center, remember, Derek Kennard.
You know, that's an interesting thing. Ray Donaldson was injured last week. Derek Kennard came in, and they had no problems with the exchange. Here, Derek Kennard works with Troy Aikman all week. Now, that looked like Derek Kennard got that ball up there. Again, you know, Troy Aikman, the quarterback, has his right hand up underneath, and you try and slap the ball in his right hand.
3rd and 15. 3 wide receivers. Here's Aikman. Just throws it away. And the Cowboys will have to punt it.
And that frustrated Troy Aikman, Pat, as you see him walk off the field, because when he was ready to throw, there was no one open, and he had to bring that ball back again, and he was upset with one of his receivers in the middle there.
Brian Mitchell deep for Washington. John Jett set to punt it for Dallas. He's had back spasms. There was some doubt about whether he'd be able to punt or not today.
Well, they said he'd been sleeping on a waterbed. The trainer said, well, get off that waterbed, get on a floor or something.
And he got better. David Lang down to make the stop. We'd like to welcome those of you who watch Tampa Bay, Minnesota, to Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. No score. Each team has had the ball once. Unable to move. 3 and out for both.
Yeah, that was an impressive start for the Redskins, though, because defensively they had to come in there and they showed a little pass rush. They showed good coverage. And again, the Cowboys, they like to get off to that good fluid start, get in a rhythm, and get all those things. The Redskins didn't let them do that on their first possession.
Heath Schuler at quarterback. Sends Mark Logan in motion and fires to his right. Pass is caught by Ellard. He's cut down immediately. And right now for a McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown in our Hollywood studio.
Hey, Pat, Brett Favre stayed hot today. He threw 3 touchdown passes, one here to Edgar Bennett as the Packers win it 24-10 over Cincinnati, staying on top of the NFC Central at 9-4. Back to Pat and John.
That Packer team seems to get better every week.
Until they play someone like the Cowboys.
Yeah.
That's going to be their ultimate test.
Terry Allen. Good yardage and a Redskin first down, tripped up by Haley.
Remember after the last game when the Redskins did upset the Cowboys, remember Barry Switzer after that game was all upset because Terry Allen had such a big day there? And he said that his front line, and he named them. He named Tolbert, and he named Haley, and he named Leon Lett. He said they didn't play well. They didn't get in their gaps. They didn't control their gaps. They didn't play gap control. They were running all over the place and making big lanes for Terry Allen.
1st and 10 Washington. Schuler comes out of there, and he's a good athlete. Pete Schuler lowered the shoulder. Missed the first down, I think, by about a yard, but he didn't dodge the contact, did he?
He's going to learn that. Now, he's going to run right inside of Charles Haley. You know, Charles Haley he's working up the field, and that's the lane right there. They kick him out, and Schuler finds that lane right there. Watch how he finishes it off. Usually, a quarterback won't finish off a run, and if he does finish it off, he doesn't finish it off with his right arm if he's a right-handed quarterback.
2nd and short. Less than a yard, really. Schuler gets it. First down, Washington. Over the years, there have been some thrilling games between these two.
I remember when the Redskins and the Hogs and Joe Gibbs was coaching, and they brought John Riggins and that group in here.
Boy.
Oh, that was like a real war.
Both here and in Washington.
You know, but even this Redskin team, I mean, they're disappointed in being 3-9, but they do match up well against this Cowboy team.
Allen thrown backwards.
And one of the reasons they match up well is they have a big offensive line. You know, they have John Giesick now playing center, and then they have, you know, Ray Brown at left guard, Trey Johnson weighs about 350 pounds at right guard, and they can control. They can get guys going back. They can keep those linemen out of those gaps.
That's stopped by the middle linebacker Robert Jones, who's been bothered by vertigo. He had a full groin. He suffered that against the Raiders, but since then, other pass from Schuler to Logan. He was too close to throw it that hard. Look at the weight of these offensive lines.
Yeah, and, you know, I remember one time where, you know, if a guy weighed over 300 pounds, and I had one in Art Shell, you would never put it down. You'd always say they weighed 290, 295. Now, if you look at the heaviest in the NFL as the Cowboys, they averaged 323. The Redskins averaged 307.
Well, if you got over 300, you never knew exactly how much you weighed. It was always about something. Schuler behind Truitt, incomplete. Larry Brown, the coverage. As much as anything, the presence of Deion Sanders has made Larry Brown play much better.
Yeah, and I think so. And the other thing, the presence of Deion Sanders has really made the other team always be conscious of where he is, even like now on this punt return.
High kick from Matt Turk, and Deion says get away from it. They're going to down it inside the 5. The Redskins down in a hurry. Darrell Pounds caught it at the 4. That's where the Cowboys will start from.
Your true choice. By American Express. By Black & Decker. It's how things get done. And by Pizza Hut, home of stuffed crust pizza.
Nothing. First quarter at Texas Stadium. Pat Summerall with John Madden. Cowboys ball at their own 4. Emmitt Smith to the 8. Stanley Richard.
Yeah, as you look at number 73 there, Pat, Larry Allen, I got to think that he's gotten to be one of the best guards in football, and just watching the Cowboys play and watching them on tape, I think he's their best offensive lineman right now. In fact, I would think that he may be the best offensive lineman at all of pro football. I mean, he can pass block and run block, and he can dominate from a guard position.
He can make your head snap when he hits you.
Look at that jersey. It looked like it's been sewed 300 times.
Aikman. Incomplete to Irvin. Tom Carter on the coverage.
Yeah, and that's one thing that middle of that line can do is pass protect. Just watch right here. You know, Larry Allen plays guard like a defensive lineman. I mean, he gets that left hand up in there underneath the chin. I mean, he doesn't take anything at all. I mean, you don't have to be passive to play offensive line. And it's guys like Eric Williams and Larry Allen on that right side that prove it week after week after week.
2 tight ends, Bjornsson and Novacek side by side. Aikman to Irvin. Out of bounds at about the 14. Enough to move the sticks. Michael Irvin hasn't talked to the local media since the Cowboys lost to San Francisco.
Yeah, I think that loss took a lot out of this Cowboy team. Even just being around this weekend, they aren't the same. I mean, we were here, the last time we were here was when they played the 49ers, and they were a different team then. I mean, they were cocky and they were brash and they were all those things. And that loss, and being the 3rd time in a row that they lost to the 49ers, really took a lot out of this team.
They haven't had much fun since then. Kevin Williams makes the reception from Aikman. Carter on the stop.
Yeah, this is one thing I think that they're going to have to do is they just can't rely on any time they want to throw to a wide receiver, it's Michael Irvin. I think sometimes it has to be Kevin Williams, and we know that they miss Alvin Harper, but they do have to get the ball out here to Kevin Williams.
First and 10 Cowboys at their own 29. Emmitt Smith deep behind Aikman. And Emmitt gets the carry. And he is headed in the opposite direction by Rich Owens.
You know, we were talking to Norv Turner last night. This is a guy that he likes, this Rich Owens. I mean, he thinks that he's really going to be one. And again, Norv has a lot of players like this on this Redskin team. I mean, they're a very young team and a lot of players that are going to be good. A lot of players that are probably playing and starting before they should be because that's all they have. But they are on their road back to being a good team.
And Rich Owens, according to Norv, is going to be one of the cornerstones. Here's Aikman. That's Kevin Williams. At the 47, stopped by Stanley Richard. 16-yard pickup, excuse me.
Talking to Troy Aikman a couple of weeks ago, that's one of the things that he said that he wanted to do. He said it's not all Williams' fault that he doesn't get the ball. He said sometimes he's just going to have to make more of an effort to look for him, find him, and throw the ball to him. He said because when he watches tapes, he said he is open.
Especially when he comes out of the slot like he did then. He's a good slot receiver. Better there, where he is now, than he is when he's wide. Emmitt Smith. Emmitt taken down in Redskin territory at about their 48 by Darrell Green.
We were talking earlier how on the first possession that the Cowboys didn't get in their rhythm, but they're getting in their rhythm on this drive. I mean, you know, here you got that lead draw. There's no hole in there, so Emmitt Smith just bounces it out. You see good pass protection for Troy Aikman. He's throwing it to Michael Irvin, then he throws it to Kevin Williams. He hasn't gotten to Novacek or Johnston yet, but he will.
Kendall Watkins as the Cowboys operate with 2 tight ends, and Emmett Smith gets the carry to the Redskin 45. They're still short of the first down by a couple.
Yeah, we were talking to Terry Allen last night about Emmett Smith. He said, you know, everyone says that he's a workhorse and they run him too much, and, you know, they're going to burn him out and all that stuff. He said, you know, it's not going to happen because the big guys usually don't tackle him. I mean, this line is so good that this line gets him past the defensive line and linebackers. And he said, if you watch Emmett Smith, he is usually being tackled by defensive backs.
And in most cases, he is stronger than they are.
Yeah, and he said that doesn't hurt like those big linemen.
Aikman. Irvin had it. Bounced out. Darrell Green was the closest Redskin.
That's been a great matchup over the years. He's going to look at that on the screen to see how he dropped it. Again, it looked like he was just trying to run before he caught the ball.
Yep.
See, he was going to spin and try and get that sideline on Darrell Green.
Trying to turn to the outside before the ball got there.
He probably wouldn't have gotten it anyway because Darrell Green is a savvy old corner. I never thought I'd ever call Darrell Green old. I knew I'd call him savvy, but I guess when you're a 13-year veteran, you got to be old too.
It's amazing. He's still full of life, still got a great smile. Not a good kick by Jet, but it takes a pretty good bounce and goes out of bounds at the Redskins 17. That's where Washington will take over. No score as yet. We're in the first quarter. 4:09 remain. The Cowboys nothing.
Watch Michael Irvin, Pat, here on the sideline. He's showing exactly what happened, that he started to turn and run before he caught the ball.
Which is exactly what you said.
Yeah, and it's a fine line. You know, I mean, that's what Michael Irvin does so well. That's what Jerry Rice does so well, is catch and run. But you got to do them in that order.
Here's Heath Schuler. Pass is caught. He was pushed out of bounds. Henry Ellard made the catch. It's a 17-yard pickup and a first down for the Redskins.
Yeah, you talk about savvy old receivers. Henry Ellard is one who's been catching passes for a long time, hasn't he? And what they say on this pass is that maybe he was out of bounds, but if he's out of bounds and he's pushed out of bounds while he's in the air, then that's like being inbound. You see, he caught the ball inbounds, and what they're ruling is that Brock Marion hit him, and if Brock Marion didn't hit him, his feet would have come down inside.
I think it was a good call. Schuler gives to Terry Allen. Might have squirmed for a yard, no more.
And this is Heath Schuler's third start of the season. Remember, he got hurt early in the season, and then Gus Frerotte started and did so well, and they brought Schuler back, and so it's only his 11th career start. So there's a guy that was a #1 draft choice, playing 2 years, but only starting his 11th year.
Didn't play his senior year in college. Came out early.
And I think that has to be taken into account too. These guys that come out early, that their first 2 years sometimes is just their spring training and senior year of college.
Pass intended for Jamie Asher. Incomplete. Heath Schuler's first 321 career attempts on top. Troy Aikman on the bottom.
Yeah, you know, you always think of what a quarterback is today. You think of what a Troy Aikman is. You think, you know, where Steve Young is, and you kind of forget where they were when they were starting out, like Heath Schuler starting out. And then you find out that most of them are about the same place.
There are very few exceptions to that.
Well, Dan Marino in his first year went to a Super Bowl.
And that's about the only one. Here's Schuler. Gets it up the middle to Leslie Shepard, who's still dancing but doesn't get a first down. Robert Bailey finally made the stop.
Hey, Charles Haley is not healthy. And,
no.
In fact, both of these defensive ends for the Cowboys are really beaten up. Watch Charles Haley here, and you just see he's so reckless that, you know, there's a lot of defensive guys, outside pass rushers, that don't like to go inside, because when you go inside, you're going to be picked up by another guy. Haley will go inside at will.
Turk gets off a good punt this time. Chasing Kevin Williams back. And the ball took a weird bounce. Looked like it was going to go into the end zone and came straight sideways and out of bounds inside the 10, inside the 5, inside the 10, at about the 8. Nothing still. Back at Texas Stadium, nothing score, first quarter. 2 minutes 15 seconds remain. Charles Haley, in addition to being beat up physically, has a touch of the flu.
Yeah, he didn't practice on Friday with the flu, and yesterday the Cowboys didn't practice anyway.
He has had a walkthrough. He was there, but pass thrown to Michael Irvin, complete. The Redskin defenders there in a hurry.
You know, sometimes with this, with Michael Irvin out there and the way he can work with Troy Aikman, you think that you could probably do this, just run up the field and then turn out. And as he turns, the ball is right there. It looks like they could just do that every play.
Yeah. They're so much in sync.
Yeah, and they work at being in sync, though. I mean, that in sync just doesn't happen. I mean, these two guys are very, very hard workers.
They need 3 for a first down. Emmitt Smith doesn't get it.
He's tackled by defensive linemen on that one. Usually that offensive line will get Emmitt Smith, you know, through the defensive line and into the linebackers. That one there, they didn't get him through the defensive line. And I think when Emmitt Smith got hurt on Thanksgiving, I think every Cowboys collective heart went down to their toes.
I think you're right. 2 tight ends set up. Emmitt still a little tentative. Cut down by Tony Woods, and he may or may not have enough for the first.
And one thing that they're not going to do is they're not going to let Emmitt Smith have that cutback. And you see when he started to the left that Tony Woods, instead of chasing behind, he just came right back and he just kept taking a backside cutoff lane away from him.
He'll measure. 0-0. Redskins Cowboys.
That's what you have to do when you play against Emmitt Smith. And when you play against Terry Allen, too, you have to take those gaps away, those lanes onside and backside.
A foot short of a first down.
He's firing off. Don't even hit it. Just come on around. He's firing off. Don't even. Hey, you got a chance, bro. I'm cutting you inside.
The thing about Charles Haley, he not only plays, but in between he coaches. And of course, Leon Lett has missed the last 4 games, so he's just coming back. So he's saying if the guy's firing out on you, just go right around him.
Brian Mitchell on a kick return. It was a good kick by Jet. Flags flying all over the place. Penalty markers down. David Lang down to make the stop on Mitchell. Larry Nimmers is the referee.
Usually when an official has his hat off, that means that someone went out of bounds. There's a penalty also. The flag is the penalty. The hat means that someone went out of bounds. Now, if you go out of bounds in coverage, you can't come in and make the tackle, be the first one to make the tackle. Now, there's 2 officials with their hats off. So what they're talking about is there's those 2 officials with their hats off saw someone go out of bounds and marked it with their hat.
Darrell Green was out checking on the situation.
Yeah, he's saying it's against the Cowboys.
Yeah. He's not wearing a striped shirt, though.
No, but he knows. He's a savvy old veteran.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the kicking team for running out of bounds and refusing to come in. That penalty by rule is refused. We have an illegal block in the back. During the return, number 29, that penalty by rule is accepted. It's the receiving team's ball, 10 yards from the spot of the foul.
Here's where you're going to see where the guy was out of bounds. You see now, he can run up out of bounds, but he has to try to get back in.
Said he refused to come back in.
Well, I don't know if he refused. I mean, he
did come back in.
Eventually, he did come back in. So that's one penalty, and here we're going to see the other one, pushing from behind. It has to come up right there.
That's Scott Turner. So in any case, it's the Redskins' ball back at their own 23-yard line. No score yet. We watch the Jets and the Rams welcome to Texas Stadium. No score. With 22 seconds left to play in the first quarter. That comes as a surprise to a lot of people, I'm sure. Pete Schuler gives to Terry Allen. Allen gets out across the 25 to about the 26.5-yard line. Russell Maryland tripped him up.
Oh, Russell Maryland played that backside gap control, didn't he?
Yeah.
With Barry Switzer.
Well, he's the only guy that wasn't criticized for his play in Washington.
Well, probably the first time he played backside gap control.
So that's the end of the first quarter at Texas Stadium. And the score is 0-0, Dallas and Washington.
To control that backside gap. And you see Hennings comes into it there, and Maryland comes into it. That's what they didn't do in the first game. As the ball went away, they all ran over there, and no one controlled that backside gap.
2nd and 7, Schuler. I think that was going to be a quarterback draw. Robert Jones read it, along with Russell Maryland.
I think Dixon Edwards was in there, too. You're going to see Jones is right here. Dixon Edwards comes in right there. See 58? He comes on a blitz, and that's what stopped it right there.
Right.
Dixon Edwards was playing the outside linebacker. He came in, and he just hit that gap as the ball was snapped. Schuler looked to run on that draw, and there was Dixon Edwards right in front of him.
3rd down. They need 9. They're 0 for 3 on first down so far. Heath Schuler, the quarterback, drops the throw. Incomplete. Brian Mitchell, the intended receiver, hit by Scott Case just as the ball arrived.
And I think that's what Schuler's going to look for. 1, he's going to look for Brian Mitchell. And 2, anytime the Cowboys go into a nickel defense, you look to see who Scott Case is guarding, and you try and throw to that guy. Because if there's anyone that's susceptible, it's usually Scott Case. See, Mitchell starts out there. He just goes in the flat, but Case was right there with him.
Had him man-to-man. Matt Turk back deep. Got off an excellent kick last time. And again this time. Kevin Williams signaled fair catch and made it at the 32. Deion Sanders was back deep the first time the Redskins punted. Since then, it's been Kevin Williams, which it normally is. 0-0.
Brought to you by Cadillac and your Cadillac dealer, creating a higher standard. By Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. And by Aflac, ensuring over 38 million people worldwide.
Left to play in the first half. Dallas ball at their own 28-yard line. Aikman gives to Emmett Smith. Nothing doing.
Emmett Smith doesn't look like Emmett Smith yet. I mean, he's not really just, darting into those holes. He's not slashing. He's taking a little time to get there. He's dancing around a little, and Emmett Smith has starts like this. So I mean, I don't think that you say, well, Emmett Smith isn't going to have a good day. I mean, I've seen Emmett Smith start off like this, and then after a while you say, holy moly, these guys can't stop him. That doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot, except that he did injure his knee, and he looks a little tentative.
He is protecting a little bit. Maybe more than a little bit. Aikman back to throw. It's Darryl Johnston. And again for McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown in our Hollywood studio.
Seahawks giving the Eagles fits right now, Pat. Take a look at Rick Meyer, the quarterback keeper. Poor tackling by Greg Jackson here as Meyer takes it across into the end zone. Seahawks lead it 14-0, under 13 in the second. Back to Pat and John.
That's a surprising score. 0-0 here. I'm sure that's a surprising score, too. 3rd and 2. Second quarter.
The Cowboys look a little lethargic today. You know, that 10-day rest kind of slowed them up a little.
What were you saying? Flag on the play. All of a sudden, Emmitt Smith pops into the secondary, but there's a flag on the play. It's going to be holding against Dallas.
Yeah, I was saying that, you know, you never count Emmitt Smith out. I mean, he does have a lot of slow starts, but he never has slow days.
Holding. 85, 84 offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 3rd down.
You ever have days like that?
Well, slow.
Yeah.
I had slow parts and slow all days and slow weeks and slow everything. Here's Jay Novacek here, number 84. He comes in motion. Emmitt Smith is going to eventually break out to that side. Now, from what I see there, that's a pretty good block. I mean,
yeah.
he got outside, came back in. That's not bad. Stanley Richard came up and, you know, maybe he did something down below or something like that after where you couldn't see it.
There are those who say Novacek is not a good blocker, but that was certainly an excellent block.
If he gets angles like that, he's a good blocker.
Yep. Aikman. Incomplete. Irvin, the intended receiver. Tom Carter was close, and the Cowboys will have to punt again.
I think the word for it is out of sync. I think part of it is the Cowboy offense is a little out of sync. I think maybe this 10-day they look a little stale, and the other thing is I think the Redskins are playing pretty good defense too.
Well, North Turner was saying their defensive unit was getting better week by week.
He liked his back seven. He called his back seven, of course, would be his 3 linebackers and his 4 defensive backs.
Brian Mitchell back deep. John Jett to punt it. Coverage. Charlie Williams down in a hurry.
That was a big play by Charlie Williams because he was the only guy there.
Yep. 12:33 left to play. First half, nothing score. Back at Texas Stadium, Pat Summerall, John Madden, nothing score.
You know, the odd things you see during a commercial, there's a kid on the sideline that's selling an autographed football to a guy in the stand.
Guess who autographed it?
Lo and behold,
Jerry Jones. He does own everything.
Now, how does that happen? A kid on the sideline selling an autographed football to Jerry Jones right during the game.
Jerry found somebody he wanted to sign.
Well, where'd that kid come from?
I don't know.
I mean, how did that kid get the ball?
I don't know.
I mean, there's Jerry Jones. I'm sure he doesn't even know what happened. I mean, he's saying, where the heck did I didn't do that. You know what probably happened is...
Maybe he's going to pay for the roof of the stadium with that.
Yeah. And put grass instead of artificial turf on this field. Lo and behold, I've seen a lot of things in stadiums during commercials, but never a kid selling autographed footballs to the owner.
That's got to go down. That'll be in the record book. Asher, the intended receiver.
I think he only got $30. So I mean, I saw a 20 and a 10.
Well, there were more. There was more than that. It had to be more than that.
Oh, there was more than 20 and a 10?
I think there was a 1 or 2 in there somewhere. It had to be.
Whew. Holy moly. Ernie Zampese, the offensive coordinator of the Cowboys, has the gout.
Did you ever think you'd see that? Schuler. Brown. Good coverage. Leslie Shepard, the intended receiver. I think it's more than $20.
Well, let's check it out again. I thought it was 30. I saw a 20 and a 10. Oh, there's
220s.
There's 220s.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you saw 10?
Yeah, 10.
Yeah, there's 50 at least.
Yes, that's half a C, half a Hunsky, he gives. But the balls cost more than that, I think, if it's a regulation NFL ball that has Paul Tagliabue's name on it.
That's what I got for my signing bonus. Turk's kick is handled by Kevin Williams. Your Aflac, it's not really a trivia question. That's the cover of the Redskins press guide. Ken Harvey, of course, is number 57 in the middle. Can you identify the rest of those people? All of them Redskin stars and still Redskin heroes. 6 more names. First down, Cowboys, their own 31. No score. Novacek on the move. And Aikman back to throw it. To Irvin. About a 3-yard gain. Marcus Patton made the stop. Again, the Aflac trivia question. Identify the rest of the people on the Redskin press media guide for this year. And here they are. A is Lenny Hawes, the great center. Chris Hamburger, the outstanding linebacker. Sonny Jurgensen, nobody threw it better. Joe Jacoby, one of the Hogs. Ken Houston and Charlie Taylor. And there's
Sonny right there.
Christian Adolph.
The guy's pointing to him. There's Sonny Jurgensen.
Yep. Incomplete. Nobody near. Kevin Williams, perhaps. But there was a mix-up.
And Troy Aikman's upset, I think, with Williams because he expected an out and he got an up. But
That's not good.
No, well, the whole offense, the Cowboy offense isn't in sync here. They haven't gotten anything started yet. I mean, you can see Dallas with 3 and outs. They don't do that a lot. I mean, you know, this Dallas offense is usually a highly efficient team. There's Ernie Zampese there, the offensive coordinator, trying to get something going.
Can't tell he's got the gout.
No, because he's sitting down. When you see him walking, tell he got the gout.
Aikman to Irvin, first down. Carter made the stop.
See, and I don't think that they really feel that they can give a heavy dose of Emmitt Smith now, so they have to go the other way, and they're going to try and open things up by getting the ball to Michael Irvin, because usually when they get in this position, then they just start feeding the ball to Emmitt Smith, and then that tightens up the defense, and then they can go any way they want to. But I don't think that Emmitt Smith today is going to be able to do that for him, at least right now.
He is deep. Darrell Johnston in front of him. The Moose. Aikman back to throw. To Irvin again. And as you said, it looks like they can do that all the way down the field. They're in such good rhythm.
And this time here, you're going to see Darrell Green against him. Darrell Green, for years, one of the fastest guys in the National Football League. Also one of the best cover guys. And maybe that step that he lost was the step that he needed to knock that one down. But even Darrell Green losing a step, he's still pretty quick.
Oh, remember, he was one of the best punt returners I've ever seen.
And he was always a joy. He's one of those guys that always had a bounce in his walk and a glimmer in his eye and, a smile on his face.
Aikman to throw. Outside of Smith.
Emmitt tried to give a little spinner there. There goes that kid that sold that football.
He still got another ball.
Well, supposedly, I guess Jerry Jones gave him 2 footballs, and he sold one. And then he was walking around the stadium. I don't know if he was trying to sell the other one or what, or they're just walking him out of the place.
As far as we could tell, he got $50 for the other one. That's pretty good.
Well, but when you get on television, though, security's not going to let him stay down there and sell that other one. Jerry Jones said he's such a nice kid.
Emmitt Smith. That's another Cowboy first down, tripped up by James Washington.
Yeah, and I think that's James Washington's first tackle. James Washington, of course, played for the Dallas Cowboys and said that he was going to get Emmitt. He was going to do all this stuff, and I think right there's James Washington, number 37. I think that's the first time that he got to hit Emmitt. There was a little skirmish at the end of the play, too. In fact, it's all broken up now. Poor old official, he got kicked on that deal.
Key block and a good block by Larry Allen. You see a lot of that.
Larry Allen will make a lot of key blocks. Pass and run on the line of scrimmage and downfield.
Aikman back to throw again. Irvin, the intended receiver, incomplete. A flag on the play. Thrown by the official in the end zone. Darrell Green's upset.
And there's one thrown back there about the 8-yard line too. But Darrell Green looked like he had pretty good position on that. You know, they have to start watching this because I think that they got to let the guys play a little more.
Michael Irvin is now he's upset. Darrell Green seemed happy. I think it's got to be offensive pass interference.
It's a very inconsistent thing. If you got to say what rule in the National Football League is the most inconsistent, it's pass interference. Even Troy Aikman's down there to get in that argument. You don't see that often.
Defensive pass interference, number 28. He's cut his path off to the ball. Spot foul, automatic first down.
You know, Darrell Green is saying that, you know, he's done this all the time. Here they are at the bottom of the screen. Now, again, after 5 yards, you can't bump him. See, he starts to move out. Now, right there, Darrell Green has position on him. I don't think that is pass defense. I don't think that's pass interference on the defense. This guy here calls it.
Did you hear what Larry Nimmer said? He cut his path off to the ball.
But that's okay. That's what they're supposed to do. We've been teaching that for 30 years. Cut their path off to the ball.
Longer than 30 years.
50 years.
Right.
100 years.
Aikman just finally had to throw it away.
No, I don't think there's a rule against cutting the path off to the ball. I mean, that's the only, you know who has that territory. If you get there first, that's your territory. I think Darrell Green is saying that. He's right.
I think he is too.
How can you not? What are you supposed to do?
Get out of his way?
Yeah, get out of his way and say, oh, I'm sorry, you want this, you take it, I'll stand by and watch it.
And give you a touchdown?
I don't think Larry Nemmer's meant to say that what he said.
Aikman to Emmett Smith. And Emmett, touchdown. He wanted that.
And so did big Derek Kennard. He was in there pushing at the end. I think he pushed the defense, Emmett, and the whole group into that end zone.
22 rushing touchdowns.
Yep, and the record is 24. John Riggins. But watch Derek Kennard, the center here. They're going to get a big push in the middle anyway. You know, when you get Larry Allen, watch how he just knocks his guy off there, the big hole, and then Kennard's going to come right here. You see him push? He just pushes the whole thing right into the end zone.
And then Nate Newton pushed him.
But it was still Larry Allen's block that made that a touchdown.
Bonio's kick is good, and it's 7-0. That ties Emmitt Smith's club record for a season of touchdowns, 22.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Aptiva, the home computer from IBM. Welcome to the future.
Back at Texas Stadium, Chris Bonio set to kick off for Dallas. They lead Washington 7-0. Brian Mitchell is deep. He'll get a chance to return this one from the 5. Slipped away from one man. That is one phase of this Cowboy team that's improved as the years passed by. The special teams coverage.
Well, and they lost. They got a lot of guys in the offseason, too, that were special teams players that they couldn't give any money to. So one of the things they wanted to do in the draft is to get special teams players that they could pay the lowest salary. I think Darrell Green is still upset about this play. Just watch it. Here's Michael Irvin. Here's Darrell Green there. I don't think this should have been a penalty against Michael Irvin or Darrell Green. Because see Darrell Green right there. He takes away the path right there. He should do that. Now, he doesn't have to get out of the way. There's a little push here by Michael Irvin, but I don't think that should be a penalty either. That's where Norv Turner is telling the referee that he saw it on the big board up there, that there was nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's too late now. I mean, the Cowboys got that, and they got the touchdown, but that can't be a rule, what they said. And if they can't do that on defense, then you can't play defense. And I know you want to help the offense in this league, but you also have to let the defense, give them a break once in a while, or let them play.
Well, the Cowboys were offsides on that kickoff by Bonio just a minute ago, so they'll have to kick off now from their own 25.
Cowboys still got old Bill Bates still down there, running down there all these years. And
right in the middle.
Off.
At the 10, it's Mitchell. They go left this time. And again, the coverage is good. They get out to about the 26. Terry Bradshaw hosts a 1-hour special on Fox 1 week from tonight. Find out which one of your favorite athletes will become part of sports history. Watch the Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year Award next Sunday at 7, 6 Central here on Fox. Redskins at the 27, 1st and 10.
You know, after that pass interference, then it's just a matter of time. You know, whether Emmitt Smith is healthy or all the way back or not, when he gets close to or smells that goal line, he gets awfully healthy. That's like a liniment.
Terry Allen hit by Darren Woodson right at the line of scrimmage. An assist from Dixon Edwards.
Michael Irvin's talking to Kevin Williams, and that's probably about that pass pattern. Remember the one that Aikman threw and out, and Williams ran up?
And the ball, Aikman just had to throw it away, really.
Right. And one thing about Michael Irvin, he plays and practices and does everything at a very high intensity level.
And not just during the season. In the off season, he works every day.
He lets them all have it. I mean, he's letting Kevin Williams have it there.
Play clock down to 1 second, and Schuler calls the timeout. Gus Frerotte started off the season after Schuler got hurt, and he was hot. Now they're trying Schuler. 7-0 Dallas with 7:15 left to play. Darrell Green was called for pass interference on a key call that set up the Dallas touchdown by Emmitt Smith, his 22nd of the year. Now Aikman is talking to Kevin Williams.
Well, I think that Michael Irvin probably got Kevin Williams excited, and now Troy Aikman's over there to calm him down. So we have a whole nother half a game here to go.
Michael Irvin plays excited. Schuler back to throw. Up into the pocket, out of the pocket, and taken down by Robert Jones. Godfrey Miles also involved.
Schuler's a strong guy. I mean, he weighs 225 pounds, and again on this play, he doesn't see anyone open. He's getting a blitz, and he sees right there, he just sees that little lane there, and that lane says, well, I better get it there, because here's what they try and do in Dion. They just they're just going to run him down the field, just run him off, and then this is the area that they want to work on the other side to Henry Ellard. Henry Ellard just didn't get open when Schuler's ready to throw it.
3rd and 10. Brian Mitchell. Stopped finally by Scott Case with a good call on a Redskin first down.
Oh, and then he said something to Scott Case, and then Scott Case kind of punched him a little.
20-yard gain.
This is kind of one of those shovel passes. You're going to see here's Mitchell right here. You see he's going to come like he's blocking, and then Schuler just shoveled it with his left hand. As a matter of fact, he took the ball out of his right, put it in his left hand, and just gave him one of those underhand option-like things. You know how you pitch that option end over end?
Yep.
That was a good-looking little pitch shovel.
Well, he did that in college. Now he's back to throw it. Schuler's short. Intended for Henry Ellard. Didn't get there. Again, the Cowboys had a good rush going.
I think he was short because Charles Haley was there. Charles Haley will put pressure on you and make you throw it or not let you step the way you want to. You know, that's a big thing. If you can get in front of a quarterback or get to his feet where he can't step, then he can never get everything on the ball. That's what happened to Schuler on that one. That's why it just went boom right into the turf.
2nd down and 10. Schuler gives to Terry Allen. He's going to have a 1st and more inside the Cowboy 40.
Boy, now that is a slash. Did you see Terry Allen on that one?
Boy, he's a tough guy.
I mean, he took off. I mean, here's Terry Allen here. I mean, he's going to slash, boom, just right into that hole right now. I mean, he took off and he hit that thing, and those big blockers. You see that big Trey Johnson? 340 pounds. Look at that. There's the slash coming right at you.
A good block by Mark Logan to lead him through the hole, too.
Yeah, and Trey Johnson was on Russell Maryland there, made a good block.
Allen again. Inside the Cowboy 35, about the 34. Robert Jones made the stop.
They didn't let him get started on that slash that time. Heath Schuler got this drive started with that left-handed pass. Now, there's Norv Turner. When he calls these plays, he puts that thing in front because he doesn't want anyone to read his lips. I said, what's that all about, Norv? And he said, well, maybe I'm paranoid.
Maybe.
Then I said, what do you mean you're paranoid? He goes, no. He said, they can read your lips from across the field. So he puts that thing up there when he calls the plays.
3 wide receivers. But they give to Allen, and there's a big hole in the middle. Allen down to about the Cowboy 21-yard line.
You know, the worst position if you had to be a guy is that umpire, the guy that stands behind the defense there.
Just can't get out of the way no matter where he goes.
And he didn't get out of the way on that one. I mean, they came flying, and he was going backwards and trying to get out of the way. Here's the umpire right here. Now watch what happens when they run at him. He's trying to run out of the way, back turn, and he gets whacked.
That's Al Conway.
Al Conway got whipsawed on that one.
Schuler rolls right and rolls out of bounds at the 20. Dixon Edwards chased him.
Norv Turner has to calm down to call the play, you see, but he's not going to let anyone read his lips. I mean, he got those good plays, and they're not going to get him from the other side because he said you can get him from the other side and you can get him from the press box.
He's thinking of having James Bond call the plays for him.
But he's not paranoid. I'll say that about all coaching.
Yeah. Schuler to about the 13.
Larry Brown played that one well. I mean, you know, in any corner has to be a good open field tackler because you're the last line of defense. And you watch, here's Larry Brown here. They get to a point where Heath Schuler's going to be one-on-one. He gets out there, and there's no one between the goal line and Heath Schuler except Larry Brown. And he makes a perfect tackle.
3rd and 2. Schuler sneaks it straight ahead, and he might have gotten the first down.
Boy, that's long yardage for a quarterback sneak.
Isn't it?
Usually 2 yards. You know, it's usually a half a yard, maybe even a short 1 yard when you think of a quarterback sneak.
Ed Simmons gave a little measurement to Norv Turner. About a foot they need, looks like.
Norv will probably go for it again because with this team, I mean, to be honest with you, he doesn't have a lot of offensive weapons. And you get a team like Dallas, he's not going to be down in this area a lot today. So when you do get down there, you have to be very aggressive. I think he has to go for it on 4th down.
I'm sure he will.
He's going to whisper this one in there.
Put up the card.
Yep. Jim Hannafin, his offensive line coach, is showing him. What do you think, Jim, that one or the other one? Oh, he didn't even put the card up. He said, to heck with it. We'll just call this one.
Now he's got the card up.
Oh, he's calling the play now. He had a substitute first. That's what he was doing first. He better watch the time, though. There's 20 seconds.
Barry Switzer across the field.
4th down made Barry Switzer take a knee.
Yeah. 3 tight ends set up. Got to sneak it again, don't you?
I would think so.
They give to Terry Allen. He got the first down. Almost broke for the touchdown. Inside the 5. Darren Smith.
That was a pretty good mix-up. Quarterback sneak on 3rd down and hand it to Terry Allen on 4th down. He picked a pretty good one off that card. He had a little help from Jim Hannafin. I think Hannafin helped him pick the formation.
Well, Hannafin's been picking for a long time.
Pretty good, too.
Yeah. 7-0. Dallas leading, but Washington close.
There's no wide receivers, and that gets Deion Sanders in force, and that's where they're going to run the ball. See, Logan is going to come up and kick out Deion Sanders right there. Ray Brown comes around and makes a block, and that's all Terry Allen needs to get about 5 yards. Now, the coach isn't paranoid, but this is what happens to you sometimes when you get fourth down.
If you make it, you grow.
No, that's a little, a thing. I mean, it took you something to call it, and then when you make it, that thing kind of hits you. You don't know where it came from.
Two tight ends. Shooter gets to Logan. Logan down to about the 2.
Well, Norv Turner said that they, felt they really had to run the ball, and they could run the ball against the Cowboys. And on this drive, they've run 10 times and passed twice. And, of course, one of those passes, I think, was that shovel pass.
Yeah. 2nd and goal at the 2.
I think you look at that big right guard in there, Trey Johnson. He weighs 340 pounds. I think I'd get in there behind he and Ed Simmons on that right side.
Logan moves. Terry Allen. Touchdown standing. The Redskins have a chance to tie things up with under 2 minutes left in the first half.
Hey, they got fired up on this. This is where they're going to run. I said, the right guard, the right tackle, get in behind those guys. Double team, come up in a linebacker, get Ray Brown coming again on the lead. That was the same play that they ran on 4th down. And the Cowboys didn't stop it on 4th down. They didn't stop it for the touchdown.
A good block by Ray Brown both times. Coming around the corner. Eddie Murray for the extra point with Gus Farrat holding to tie it up. Ex-Cowboy Eddie Murray ties it up at 7. So with a minute and 22 seconds left to play in the first half, it's 7-all. Washington and Dallas. Saturday, it's a Fox NFL special as the Arizona Cardinals battle the San Diego Chargers in a tough interconference battle. And Terry Bradshaw and Jimmy Johnson will be in the booth to announce the game, to bring you the exciting NFL action. Coverage begins at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific, with Terry and Jimmy in the booth. Wonder who's going to lead them up there.
Let's just watch that touchdown again, Pat. Now here again, here's Ray Brown, and on both of these he came over. Now they don't have their force. Here's their force that should be up in the line of scrimmage. They don't have their force out there. You see, they're getting there late. Woodson is getting up there late. They got Godfrey Miles to the outside instead of Deion Sanders this time. Godfrey Miles still gets blocked. Again, a good block by Ray Brown.
And by Logan again.
But see, on the 4th down play, they had Deion Sanders playing in there on force. On the goal line, they put Godfrey Miles in there for Deion Sanders, and Godfrey Miles was really the corner, but he still got blocked by Logan.
Deion Sanders back deep on the kickoff return team. Kevin Williams in the middle. But it looks like it's going to be Deion. And doesn't quite make it back to the 20. Darrell pounds down to stop it. Along with Derek Brownlow, who got a little charge out of it.
Well, they get so happy with themselves when they make a tackle on special teams, especially when it's inside the 20-yard line. That's always a goal. And then especially when it's on Deion Sanders. See, that's the first thing you want to do is stop them inside the 20. That's the first goal of a kickoff coverage. They did. And then they get so proud of themselves. They hit each other. They hit themselves.
And when you're an ex-Cowboy, that makes it even nicer. Aikman throws it away. He's knocked down by Ken Harvey.
And if he hadn't have thrown it away, he would have been knocked down harder by Ken Harvey. I mean, Harvey's coming from right here. Harvey in the first game gave Mark Tuinei problems. And again, it's that speed and quickness. And there, he even used a little strength. It looked like Tuinei never did get set. He didn't think Harvey was going to do anything to him, because Harvey just gave him a little punch, boom, with that left hand and straightened up Tuinei.
He's very quick and deceptively strong.
Yeah, but he only weighs about 240 pounds, and Mark Tuinei is about 315.
Aikman has some time. Throws to Kevin Williams, complete down the middle. First down, Dallas. Clock running with a minute left now. Aikman calls timeout.
Yeah, the Cowboys had all 3 of their timeouts, and I think that Aikman was trying to get up there, and then he said, heck, we have all 3. Let's just take one now. Again, they're going to get Kevin Williams back into that middle where he caught that deep end before. Great pass protection. That let Aikman wait and wait and wait and let Williams come in on that second level. He had a shorter level than he was the second level of depth.
Don't forget to stay with us at the half for the Dockers halftime with Terry, JB, Howie, and Jimmy. Scores the highlights. And there were some outstanding highlights and surprising scores of the games that have been completed today.
Now we're, checking the sweat. Derek Kennard is winning the contest in this first half, and Troy Aikman, that bothers Troy Aikman because he doesn't like to have a wet football, and he worries about his hands getting wet.
Derek Kennard is turning it into no contest. Aikman from behind hit. Pass almost picked off. Ken Harvey applied the pressure.
And Keith Taylor, after this thing comes down, here's Harvey again. As you say, he's going to put the pressure on. He gave Mark Tuinei trouble in that first game, and he's giving him trouble here now. He makes Aikman step up, and he hits Troy Aikman's arm just as he throws the ball. I'll tell you, Keith Taylor was down there and almost picked that thing off. That's the second time on this drive that Ken Harvey's gotten to Troy Aikman.
Went right by Tuinei. This time he tried to go inside and got hung up. Aikman threw up the middle to Kevin Williams, and he made the reception on the rebound.
We saw pictures earlier where Michael Irvin was talking to Kevin Williams, and then we saw Troy Aikman come over and calm him down, and we can see why.
Aikman a throw. Irvin breaks away from one man. Gets out of bounds at the Redskins 36-yard line. Stanley Richard.
And he made that move on Darrell Green that time. Here you're going to see Darrell Green go for that spin move. Remember earlier when Michael Irvin tried to do this, he tried to make a move before he caught the ball, and he dropped the ball. That time he caught it and made that spin and that move to the outside and pick up another 5 or 6 yards.
Almost 3 distinct moves he had to make.
And it was on Darrell Green, who has seen that thing for 13 years and expected it, and he still went for the bait.
3 wide receivers for the Cowboys. First down. Aikman gives to Emmett Smith. Back to the line of scrimmage. Tim Johnson stopped him. 21 seconds left, and it's a Cowboy timeout.
Emmett Smith wondered where that came from. He ran into his own guy, Eric Williams. Eric Williams must have been blocking down because the first guy that hit him. Now watch, here's Eric Williams, and Emmett Smith is going to come into this area, and he runs right into that thing. See him come down there, get knocked back, boom. Emmett's saying, what the heck? It was just half of Eric Williams, just the backside of Eric Williams that hit him, but that's a pretty big load.
Yeah.
Eric Williams, an amazing story, coming back from that automobile accident. That knee surgery, there was, thought that maybe he wouldn't get back until about this time. He's played all year.
Not even play at all.
Something he may not even play, and he's still not back to what he was. There was a time a year ago when Eric Williams was the best offensive lineman, period, in pro football.
He was a dominating lineman, like Larry Allen, who plays next to him, is now.
Yeah, and he really still, that bad knee, that foot on that bad knee, he still can't plant that hard.
But even with those things in mind, he's still about as good as there is. Aikman. Pass caught by Corey Fleming. At about the 22, clock running, they hustle up to the line of scrimmage with 12 seconds left. 1 timeout left.
He better just throw this ball down. What's he doing? He was waiting. He still could have stopped the clock, though, and gotten 1 play, I think. He knew he had 1 timeout left, so he was just waiting for it to get down there to kick the field goal.
Right.
He probably didn't want to rush it. I mean, once he got to the 20, he knew he had the field goal, because what he could have done is just thrown the ball down because it was a first down, then taking a shot into the end zone. I think he would have had time for that and then kick a field goal.
Chris Boniol, who's been outstanding, has made 15 straight field goals, the longest active streak of anybody. Sort of gone unnoticed, but he's been terrific. Novacek will hold. Dale Hellestree is the snapper. They need somebody else in the game.
Yeah, they only got 10 guys out there. I think they only have 9 guys out there.
Well, Joe Abzano's out there.
Now here comes 2. Yeah, they didn't. There goes 1 off.
There comes Kendall Watkins.
Oh, this is embarrassing.
Bonio will try from 37 yards out. 38 perhaps. And his kick is good. The Cowboys lead 10-7 as the teams head for the locker room. Good first half, particularly on the Redskins side, as they trail by 3 to Dallas. Halftime score 10-7 Cowboys.